Good morning, beauties. What is up, and welcome back to my channel. Yes, we will address the elephant in the room, which is the fact that I sound like, child, I sound like a whole hardback man. Like, I don't even know how else to put it. Like, my voice is so deep, and I'm not sick, it's just allergies. And we're dealing with it. I got me a little Flonase Zyrtec combo. It's helping a little. My eyes are super itchy, but that's not what y'all here for. I'm here to test out some new makeup. So I'm on my way to Target, and you know you can't go to Target looking any old kind of way. So I figured I would test out some new products with you guys. The star of the show is actually going to be the new Melt Electrip palette, which, why I buy this, y'all? And y'all, if you follow me and you watch my videos, you know I said good and well that I wasn't buying this palette after trying the, I believe it was the 420 one. And I was stressed and pressed and irritated, but I don't know if I feel like Melt needed to redeem themselves, or because like I saw swatches of this and my friend Steven, he purchased it and his swatches looked amazing. Make sure you follow him on his Instagram. He does swatches of a ton of makeup palettes, both mainstream and indie, and his swatches are absolutely stunning. And it just looked like the quality was better. So because of that, I got a little bit of hope and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a little try. So this is gonna be the main product that I'm testing out. I also have some new products from Blend Bunny. Now I am on the Blend Bunny PR list, and I did get the 2 new blush palettes that they released, as well as their lip oils. It's 6 lip oils. I don't know what the other 3 are. I have 4 here, so I don't know where the other 2 going. I do know. I have been using these lip oils. They're really, really good. They're great as like lip masks before bed. So I have been using them. So I know I probably have one in one of my places, and one is sitting at my bedside, I think. But I'll find them. But here the one that's missing is another orange one, like a yellow orange one. And then there's a clear version, which is either in my purse. Oh wait, I find one. Okay, so here's the clear. And now I just missing the other orange one, which I do believe is in a place somewhere. So I'm not using all of these. I'm not doing lip swatches for you guys, but I will apply this on my lips before I start doing my look. Because it is a really nice kind of like it's a good product to, you know, prep your lips before you go in with like your lipstick at the end of application. And just to show you guys, I've been using this. This is the Love Bite shade, and you can see how much product I've used up compared to this shade here. So I've been using this pretty religiously. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, trying out the cheek products. I'm not sure which one I'm going to go in with yet, but we'll get to that. And of course, diving into the Melt Electrip palette. It's going to be like pretty chill casual. This isn't going to be like a very stereotypical first impressions video for me. This is just gonna go how it's gonna go. It might be a chatty get ready with me. It might just be me applying makeup with some music. We'll see, because I'm trying not to over talk because of how I sound right now. But anyways, that was a really long intro, and you probably have no idea who I am if this is your first time watching me. Welcome, I'm Jamila. I love all things makeup. I love all things beauty. I love all things skincare, and I love sharing my tips and tricks for how to find high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I would absolutely love if you would consider subscribing and joining the fam. We have a vibe here. We're a really great community, and we're all about, you know, getting the best deals, saving the most money on these beauty products, because makeup is an expensive hobby, alright? Alright, let's go ahead and dive in. My eyes are already primed. I've been using the Sephora concealer as a primer in the shade 35N, and this is so nice. I think that this is gonna be my go-to for a while, and I might buy a backup of this because right now is the Sephora VIV sale, so I may end up getting another one of that because that's a really nice concealer. Okay, I brought you guys in a little bit closer. And we're gonna dive in. I haven't taken pictures of this, but I'm too lazy to do any of that fun jazz right now. But this is the color story of the Melt Electric palette. Truth be told, I think I'll have to rearrange this because it is a little chaotic for my eyes. And that's part of the reason why I didn't want to pick this up, because I was just like, it really was a trip. And I don't like having to feel that stressed out when I'm getting or deciding what to wear with my makeup. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go in with the shade Bang. It is the lightest shade in the palette. It is kind of like a peachy color. So I'm using my Ariel A11 brush from the Ariel X Morphe collection. And I'm just going to use that as my crease color. And like I was saying, y'all, I was not going to pick this up because I didn't fall in love with the color story, and to be quite frank, the way I felt about that Melt 420 palette, I was so stressed about it that I was like, absolutely not, Melt, you're gonna have to sit in the back and relax for a couple, because nobody should have to struggle that hard to create a look. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna put Melt on pause for a little bit. But then this came out, and again, I wasn't in love with the color story, but I saw Steven's swatches and it looked so good. Like, the pigments looked there, and most importantly, the shimmers looked like they were shimming, which is really big, because if you know Melt, you know that they are not a shimmer brand. They do not do their shimmers well. It is real hit or miss with them generally, but especially with their shimmers. And it looked like the shimmers had a really nice impact. So I was like, okay, I'm willing to give this palette a try. And something about seeing it swatched out by like a real person, I was able to better pull together colors and pull together looks. Now, I do think that the layout is still a little chaotic for my mind, so I will have to rearrange this. And luckily, these are magnetic pans, so I can just plop them out. Or, you know, even if I had to look at the palette as like half and half, because if you cut the palette in half like this is a warm palette, this is like the cooler side of it, which is kind of like Zendo. And I don't know if it's me rearranging it to get it the way that I want, or just rethinking how I view the palette, because it can be really hard mixing warm and cool tones if you're not careful, because you can go from really pretty to really muddy very quickly. Okay, I think that peach shade applied really nicely. I'm gonna go into the pink shade. It's called, well, it's a red shade. We'll see if it blends out pink. It's called Strawberry Fields. It's extremely bright, so I'm only gonna pick up a little bit of that, and then I'm gonna start blending that into the outer part of the crease to get a little bit of depth in there. The other interesting thing about this palette is that when Melt released it, they immediately put it on sale, which can you just give us the sale price from the jump? Like, they didn't put it specifically on sale, but they had a 30% off sale, and this was included in it. And I was just like, I'm beginning to feel specifically about Melt that they are extremely overpriced. I think most makeup is overpriced, but Melt in particular, I think their palettes are really overpriced. Like, these big ones retail for $58, and I'm like, I don't know if it's $58 quality. But in comparison, brands like Too Faced and Tarte and Urban Decay, their palettes are now at this price as well, and I think that they're way worse. So I don't know, y'all. Like, these prices, like, could we don't get any 20 something or 30 something dollar palettes no more. Okay, this is staying pretty red, which I'm surprised by. I thought it would turn a bit pink. And it is nice and soft enough that it's not too impactful, which means that I can get a really pretty gradient. I was just curious about the shade. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, because next up I want to go into the dark brown, which is the only dark shade in the palette. So I'm taking my B5 brush from Blend Bunny, and I'm going to go into this dark brown shade. It's called Reefer. And I'm going to do my outer corner with that, just create some depth. Now, I am glad that for this release, Melt decided to not do another weed inspired palette, because I'm like, how many times can you do that? Like, how many times is too many times, you know? Like, you did it. I get it. You did it again. So I'm glad that they're trying to reinvent their 420 series, because I think there's literally only so many times you can do a Mary Jane inspired palette. Now, I will say I am pleasantly surprised with how easy this is applying and blending without any muddiness, because I'm almost done with this look, and last time it took me so long to do the eye looks because the shades were not behaving. So I'm here for the simplicity of this. Y'all know about that soft life. Especially when it comes to your hobbies, you know? Your hobbies should be things that bring you joy. If it stresses you out, like, you gotta find a new hobby, man. Now, like I said, it can be really hard to mix. Now, like I said, it can be really hard to mix warm and cool tones together, but I do want to try to play across this palette. So in terms of shimmers, I think I definitely want to go into the orange shimmer as well as this green shimmer here. That's really pretty. Okay, so we interrupt this program because I got a package. Now, this is my Sephora, well, one of my Sephora VIB orders, so let's open it. Okay. It's here. Now, it's not what you think it is. I did not buy the bronzer from Sephora because I'm willing to wait for that to go on sale on Pat McGrath's website. I have like 30 bronzers. I don't need another bronzer, y'all. Probably ever. But I wanted the quad so bad. And I had a little gift card, so I treated myself to the quad. Here it is, the Pat McGrath packaging, which is super luxe. I will say I miss the hieroglyphics that she had in her packaging because it was raised, it was textured. This printed on version just cheapens it a bit, but we're gonna let that go. We're gonna let it go. Anyways, this is the Venusian Sunrise quad. Sorry. Oh, it's so basically beautiful. It is basic as hell, but it's stunning. Seriously though, if this came before I started filming this video, I would have used this palette. Oh my god, it's gorgeous. I'm excited. I'm a basic Betty, y'all. I don't know how else to say it because like you guys come here and you watch me create a lot of these like very colorful looks, which I love, but at my core, I am a brown eyeshadow girl at heart. Brown eyeshadow with a little pop of gold, that is it. That is me. Like neutral palettes have my heart. That's just what it is. So I'm really excited for that. Anyways, yeah, that's part of, look, you get an unboxing in the middle of my get ready with me. Okay, now back to this eye look. So I was saying, oh, okay, don't blow me out now. So back to this eye look, like I was saying, I want to play around with the cools and the warms. So I'm going to go in with the orange and I want to try this green because it's so stinking pretty. And then I'll probably use this. I'll try to use this if I can. But I don't want to overcomplicate this look. Actually, hold up. Hold up. They don't love you like I love you. And I haven't swatched this palette, so let me swatch a couple of these shimmers and see how I'm feeling. Okay, these are the 3 shimmers that I'm gravitating towards. So we have the orange one. Oh, that's pretty. There is this like, it's like a dirty green. That's really pretty. And then this really bright green. We're gonna use all 3. This is not going to work well for me, but we're gonna try anyway. So first things first, I'm gonna take that really deep shade. I feel like it's like a green, like a dirty green in my opinion. And I want to start by putting that into the outer part of the eye, blending it into the deep brown matte that we have. And I'm gonna create a gradient like I typically do. Like usually I like to go in with like 2 shades, but I think all 3 of those are super pretty, and if I can show you guys as much shades as possible, I try. So I'm starting with this dirty brown shade, laying that down. Then next I'm going into the green shade, which is super bright and beautiful, plopping that in the middle and blending that into that dirty brown shade. I'm using my fingers for all of this because I don't trust melt shimmers like that. And using my finger gives me a lot more control over the shadow. At least in my opinion. So far not bad. And then lastly, I'm going into the orange shade. Let me just clean off a finger. Going into the orange shade and putting that into the inner part, blending it into the green. This is the trickiest because It's the smallest area and my fingers are fat, so I'm just trying to stamp it in, and then I'll go in with a brush and really clean that up. Okay, not bad. I haven't cleaned it up yet, but so far, I'm not mad at this. I'm taking this AOA E122, and this is from the Shop Miss A line. So this brush is $1. If you didn't know, Shop Miss A actually has some pretty decent brushes. I don't love all of their brushes, and they're not like the most consistent in terms of you might buy the same brush shape and it feels different, which I don't love. But for $1, there are some brushes that I actually have from them that I really like. And I really hope my voice isn't too annoying, you guys, because I know that when I get sick, like my voice gets super deep. I really do sound like a hardback man. It's not cute, and it's not the most attractive to listen to, so I do apologize, but I can't control that. I can't control my sickness, and I appreciate you if you're still here watching despite it. Okay, let me bring you guys in so you can see. Like, I'm feeling this gradient. I think it's actually really nice. So this is what the eyes are looking like. I'm gonna pause right here, do a little bit of blending, clean this up, and add my foundation concealer, and we'll come back and I'll apply the blush on my actual Jesus, what is happening? So I was supposed to do this at the top so that my lips would be perfectly moisturized by the end of it. So before I go off camera to finish everything else, I'm just gonna take a little bit of my Blend Bunny lip oil, and I want you guys to see how big and fat and chunky the doe foot is. This is my favorite shade. I love it. It's the shade Love Bite, like I said. It does pick up a pretty decent amount of product. You can see the tint to this in all of them, but it's not an overwhelming tint. Now, these are comfortable enough where I feel like I can put them on at night, go to sleep, and I wake up and my lips feel really, really refreshed. And they don't fade as quickly as some other lip oils. So when I'm doing my makeup, I like to let this just sit on my lips and marinate, so that by the time I'm ready for my lip product, my lips are juicy and hydrated and ready to go. Okay, now that being said, I'm gonna go finish up the rest of the eye look, get my base on, and then come back and show you guys the face palettes. Okay, I'm back, and the face is not doing anything. I look a little bit like an egg, as I usually do before I start to get everything locked in. So I have the two face palettes, but before we actually go into that, let me go ahead and apply some bronzer because I forgot. And I may need to powder a little bit because I am pretty darn shiny, and I don't know why. I feel like I've been powdering, but I'm still really shiny. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with my Dior bronzer. This is shade number 8. I've been using this pretty sparingly because I have hit pan, and this bronzer is stunning. But I did purchase a backup of this in the Sephora VIB sale, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try to empty this one out because I have a fresh one. I think this is my favorite bronzer. Like, Dior really does know how to do complexion products in like the most beautiful, pretty natural glam way. Just love their products. And because I'm all about the layering lately, I'm gonna go in with the Bare Minerals bronze. Get a little bit of that glow from this bronzer. Okay, she is chiseled to perfection. I don't know why my skin is so... Okay, I'm just laying down some of this Essence powder to try to control a little bit of that shine. I think it's coming from me using this so-called mattifying spray from BH Cosmetics that trash, but we're gonna let it go. We're gonna let it go. So the two palettes that I have, the first one is the Bare Cheeks. This is definitely for the everyday neutral friendly girl, and she's cute. And I love me a blush palette. I realize I don't love single blushes because I like to mix and match and come up with the shades that I want. And this is the Juicy version, which is stunning. Really bright pops of color, really gorgeous. Where do we start? I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna go bare today because we're just chilling. We're not going nowhere. We're just going to Target. Now the collection does come with a blush brush, which is so pretty. It has like a beautiful pink handle. It says Blend Bunny Cosmetics on it. It comes with a little brush guard. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Okay, now because we have like the orange going, I think I'm gonna go into these two shades here. I love to mix and match my blushes, and because this is probably gonna be really pigmented. Ooh, okay. Here we go. I'm gonna start by, oh yeah. Let me bring you guys in a little bit. I'm only taking a little bit, and this is the Making Me Blush, which is the top shade. Okay, that is stunning. And then I'm gonna go into In Charge, which is underneath. Jesus, please. Okay, gonna have to put a little bit of that. Always. My foundation is still pretty tacky, so I'm finding that this is like sticking to it. Even though I set it, like, don't like that setting spray. So going back in with the first shade, soften that up on this side. And the first shade again, Making Me Blush, second shade, In Charge. She's pigmented, I'll say that for sure. Okay. I don't want to over blush. And I did get some a little too close to my eye here. So I'm gonna try to like just buff that in with my powder brush. It's pretty. It's a pretty brush. So I like that. That's cute. Okay. What highlight am I gonna use? Okay, let's go into this Melt highlighter. This is the shade Genesis. It is like a duochrome orangey peachy highlight, so okay, that's pretty. All right, let me quickly do my waterline, and then I will add some mascara, and we'll talk about all the products that I use today. Okay, so this is the final look, and I like it. I think that it's super cute. It's like a somewhat everyday friendly look, and I am not mad at it. So let me talk quickly about all the products that I used, and wait, let me tell you guys what else I'm wearing on my face first, and then we'll talk about the new products that I used. So for my foundation, I've actually been mixing the La Mer foundation with the Bite Beauty foundation. This one's a little too dark for me. This one's a little too light. Together, I'm able to get my perfect shade. And it definitely is more of like a satin finish. In terms of bronzer, you guys saw I used the Dior bronzer. And for my lip, I'm wearing my little Tracy because she's perfection. So I'm waiting for Sydney Grace to bring it back. And you guys saw my blush and my highlight. So that's pretty much it. Now let's talk about the Melt palette first. I really like this. I think that this is really nice. The mattes are solid, like really good quality Melt mattes that we're used to. So hallelujah there. Didn't have to worry about the mattes being patchy. Everything blended fine. And they blended well going from light to dark, which is one of the things with Melt is that sometimes you have to apply it in a specific way. I personally don't like eyeshadow that has to be applied in a specific way, and specifically dark to light, because I'm a light to dark gal. So that is where my comfort zone sits. It's not that I can't do it or I won't do it the opposite way. It's just that if I'm most comfortable doing it that way, that's kind of what I prefer. It's just, you know, like everybody else. So this one seemed to blend fine going from light to dark, and I think it just applied really well. I actually had a good time applying those mattes, and I have strong feelings about mattes just generally. Now, the shimmers, those were really nice. Like, those surprised me a lot. Are they the best shimmers on the market? Nah. Are they the most sparkliest, high impact, or at least soft? Like, they're good shimmers. That's what I will say. They're not the best. They're not the worst. They're just good. Which, for melt, I'll accept good, because y'all know how it can be with them. So I'm not mad at it. I thought that it worked well. I thought that all of these shimmers blended really nicely together, without any muddiness, which can happen when you have a more warm and cool tone palette and you try to smash it together. I thought that they both sort of applied great. So melt may have redeemed itself in my book, so we're going to just let that rock. Now, the lip oil, you guys know I've been obsessed with this Blend Bunny lip oil. I've just been wearing it pretty much nonstop. I haven't been wearing it on camera because it's a lip oil, but in real life, I've been using that like crazy. So I just want to know that that is superb. If there's one thing you might want to get from the collection, it's the lip oils. Because they're significantly cheaper than that Dior lip oil, which I don't own, so I can't compare for you guys. But I just feel some kind of way about paying $40 for some lip oils. I don't know. I can't bring myself to do it just yet. So if you want something that's more affordable and actually has quite a significant amount of product, try the Blend Bunny one. Now, the blush palette, I think that this is really pretty. Now, granted, I only used both of these shades, and this is the Bare palette, but I thought that it applied well. Now, my foundation is a little more sticky than I like it to be, because the BH mattifying setting spray is just not it. It's not the wave, so I think I'm actually going to just toss the rest of that because I'm not in love with it. So it did stick to that a little bit, but it blends out really nice. And what I like about this palette specifically is that you'll realize that there is a light version and then a deep version of all of these shades. So it kind of creates a gradient. And one of the best things about Blend Bunny is that the entire brand is centered around blending, around finding your perfect shade. So by giving us a light version and a dark version, it allows people that are on the lighter spectrum to have a lighter shade that they can use and buff that out, or people that are on the deeper spectrum to have richer shades. And if you fall in the middle, which is where I typically tend to fall, being a medium deep complexion, I can mix and match this and get the perfect gradient or the perfect shade for me, which I appreciate. And it's also part of why I've been loving blush palettes lately instead of single blushes, because I like actually mixing blush shades. I like mixing bronzers, I like mixing blushes to get exactly what I want, and having it as a palette instead of multiple singles just makes it easier for me. It's why I've been going into which palette? Yeah, my Melta Mori Mariposa's palette, also my Jacqueline blush palette. Those are the ones that I've been reaching for pretty frequently because they're multiple shades and I can mix and match to get what I want. But overall, I really like it. I think it's such a pretty palette. I think that this one in particular is really good for you know, the more natural, neutral girlies. If you want something that has more punch to it, there's the other palette, which I will use in a future video because I think those colors are definitely more unique and more scary. So if you are not, you know, if you're intimidated by it, I want to be able to try it to let you know how they would look, especially on my complexion, because sometimes certain colors can either make us look bruised or just like it doesn't look well. It doesn't look the best on us. So I will definitely be pulling that into future looks. But overall, this is great. And while we're at it, let's talk about the brush. I don't know how I feel about the brush because this isn't typically the shape that I go with to apply my blush. Like, I prefer a more, I guess, tapered look. So for example, I prefer brushes that look a little bit more like this to apply my blush because I think it just is the perfect shape, in my opinion. Is it a bad application? No, it's just like a thicker, like a little poof on top. I also really like brushes that have this kind of tapering because I think that this definitely gives me more control as well. So those are the two, you know, brush shapes that I tend to go for the most. This one isn't necessarily that, so I wonder if I might end up just using this for something else. I don't know what else, but I might just end up using this for something else because this isn't my like preferred shape for blush. Okay, and that's it from me, guys. This is the face. I'm about to go to Target, get my little shopping on. I'm gonna buy toilet paper TMI, but that's what I need to go to Target for. Anyways, thanks for watching, you guys. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Let me know in the comments below if you picked up any of these products, if they were interesting to you. If you want to see me do more with these products, leave that down below as well. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out any uploads from me. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you more than you know, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.